Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you for joining me today on this Saturday morning. We're doing the Project Blog Hop today. It's a week later than we would normally do it because last week we had a big old team blog hop, so you can look back and have a look at that as well. But both of them are featuring new products, so today's hop with Jill, Jez and Heather is all featuring new products too. So if you pop along to the description in the video there'll be a link to my blog featuring my card today, and there will be links there to the other girls projects too. No doubt they'll have videos to support their projects too, whether they go out today or later in the week. So keep a lookout for those if you are a YouTube follower, and please do like and subscribe all their channels as well. So everyone's trying to get to that next goal and stuff. So it's really nice to get some additional subscribers and share the videos and the blogs with other people that you may think will like them. So yeah, new catalogue time, January the 5th, the new mini catalogue went live. So this is it, the mini catalogue. Now mine had a little bit of a little mishap that involved kitty cats, so it looks a little bit, yours will be nice and shiny, and at the same time we've got a celebration going on as well. So when you make purchases either from the new mini, the current annual catalogue, you can actually get celebration items too. So there's you can earn them these additional goodies depending on how much you spend. So this is a paper pack which is totally stunning for 45, each £45 order. There's a stamp set there, some more paper, farmyard paper and things. So lots and lots to choose from in the celebration catalogue, but I'm not going to go through that in many detail now. I just want to let you know that it's there. And today we're working with the background stamp, which is called Layered Stripes. So it's on page 28 of the catalogue, along with the hand-drawn dots, which is another nice background that we could use too for in a similar way. So but I'm just going with Layered Stripes today. And as always, the catalogue got some ideas on how you can use that stamp set along with the other products along with it. Okay, so do have a look at the catalogue. There is a at the bottom of my blog and in the description there's a link to view catalogues in a digital format, so you can have a look at those too. Alright, so like I say, Layered Stripes. So it is a background stamp, one single stamp, okay, which is really cool. I've got lots of other ideas of how I might use this stamp, so watch this space. I'm also going to pair it with the Kind and Sincere stamp set. So this one's great. So we've got the big bold sort of feature sentiments, but then we've got the companion words to go with them, so you can build a sentiment and then a cute leaf to boot. And then to cut that out, I'm actually using this set of dies, which is part of a bundle called Something Fancy, but these dies do stand alone, so they are just lovely labels and tags. So if you don't like the stamp set, this is a very nice label set to use. And like I say, it did help me cut this sentiment for my card too, so I don't have to use that with the coordinating stamp set. So I'm just going to pop those to one side just for a second. So just some using one of my favourite techniques basically to showcase this stamp set, which is the emboss resist technique. Alright, so it's just clear embossing, some ink blending over the top and sentiment, just to really make that stamp set do the work. Okay, so this colourway, I was thinking about what colourway to do, and I actually borrowed this colourway off the Creative Colour Challenge. So we've got Polished Pink, Gorgeous Grape and Coastal Cabana on there. Okay, so that's where that colour combo came from, and in true form I will be doing a slightly different one for the actual video. So the stamps that we get that cover the front are sized to fit American A2s, so I adjust my layers accordingly to make them fit nicely on a card. So I'm going to be stamping on some basic white, which is 3¼ inches wide. No, that's 3¼ isn't it? Should be 3½. Hang on, just give me a sec. If I cut that to 3¼ yeah, that's too skinny. 1 second. I need it to be 3½. 3½. Let's just cut that again. I can use that scrap for something else. And I'm cutting it long, so I'm just going to lock it off at 6 inches just so that I can secure it onto my stamp apparatus that I'm going to be using. Okay, so 3½ inches is the width it should be, and ultimately it will end up at 5¼ but like I say, I'm having this excess bit just so it can hold the paper in place while I use the stamp apparatus, and then we'll trim it down afterwards. Okay, black layer, which is 1/8 inch wider and taller, and then we've got a basic white card base. So we'll put those to one side for a moment, and we'll bring in the stamp apparatus tool. I was just thinking it might not even actually be long enough to do with the to have the magnet on. No, that's fine. So the theory was to have this longer so that I could secure it on the stamp apparatus. Right, so I'm just going to grab another piece of basic white. Trust me to try out all sorts of things, and then what do I want? 3½. But not check that. Right, I'm going to leave that full length. That's what I'm going to do. And my magnet to store on the bottom of the stamp apparatus tool. So now I can pop that into there, in the middle of that, and secure it with a magnet. Okay, at the bottom. Alright, so this is the stamp apparatus. It comes with this. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see it a bit better. So you get a base platform, which is a white clean surface, so it's reflective, right? So that will wipe clean with either Stays On Cleaner or Stampin' Mist, or even just water. So that's all great. And you'll get with it a basic foam mat, which is black, which you use with your photopolymer stamps. So I've taken it out because we're using cling. Put this in to use photopolymer. So the one you get is plain. I decided to get the deluxe mat, and this also has a white clean surface as well. Okay, so there we have that all secured in. You'll get 2 magnets with it as well, which just store underneath, and you get 2 of the sort of stamp platforms, if you like, these little windows. And the top tip is to put your stamp case underneath. So if you've not seen this before, if you put the stamp case underneath, it gives you some support for the stamp, so you can ink it up. And because we're doing heat embossing today, which is super magic stuff, we're using a clear sticky ink called Versamark ink, and we're going over that very generously. Try not to get some fluff on it though. And because we're using the stamp apparatus tool, what we can do is stamp this a couple of times to make sure we get good coverage. I can see another little bit of fluff on there, so I'm just going to take that off. Don't know where that's come from. Just some dander in the air. Where's my things? There we go. So we're going to bring that across and press that down. Okay, so if you have trouble pressing this large surface, if you use a soft cloth or one of these like furniture sliders or something like that, which gives you a bit of like, you know, sort of slick to rub over the top, it puts less pressure on your hands and your wrists if that's something you struggle with. But you want to be giving this really nice even pressure, okay, to transfer that detail rub it all across in different directions and all over. Okay, and this is much easier to do with the Stamparatus tool than it would be with a Mahusive stamp block. We do have the F block, which is suitable for these, but it is a little cumbersome to use, but this is so much easier. The other thing people do is they lay the stamp on the bench and then press their card onto it. Okay, so to be sure, we're going to do a little bit more ink. So my original sample, the ink didn't transfer quite as well as I wanted it to. Turned out great, but I just want to be extra sure, which is why I wanted to cut this a little bit different, because that's all secure. I know that that's going to pop down in exactly the right place. Okay, so it was this side that hadn't transferred so much, so I'm just giving that a really good rub to help transfer that ink. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Ooh. Chew. There we go. There we go. Have a look at that. Yeah, that looks much better. So, because it's clear, obviously you can't see a fat lot on there. But if I hold that up to the light, maybe you can see that the image has transferred. Okay. So we can pop this to one side. This just comes off, so we can get that off to clean. And I'm going to be using the sentiment, so I'm going to pop my other plate on with my sentiment ready to go. Pop that away, and then I'm going to bring in the heat embossing stuff. I forgot to use my anti-static bag. Never mind, it'll be fine. So this tray just helps us catch the powder. I've got mine in a larger tub, but obviously you use what you've got. I've been crafting for a long time, so I've had embossing powder in my craft cupboard for some time. It doesn't go off, but you use so little of it at a time, but it's nice to have plenty to put onto an image. Okay, and then any stray bits and pieces we can just take away with our brush that comes in our embossing additions kit. Okay, just a few little bits of fluff that have transferred across. So that tray will now allow us to funnel this back into our container and reduce the mess, because this stuff does end up everywhere, and even using this you still find bits that have pinged off in other directions. And then you do have these really nice tweezers that we can use as well, so we can hold on to our piece of paper and not scorch our fingers, and then I can bring the heat tool to that. Now that's going to be super noisy, so I will be muting the video, but hopefully you'll be able to see that it this dull powder will turn glossy. Okay, and I'll be heating from both the back and the front of the design to make sure we heat all that powder. So I'm going to turn that on now, get it warmed up and do that. Might just speed it up a little bit as well. Okay, I'm back in a sec. Okie dokie then, so that's all now really nice and shiny. Okay, alright. And then we can just trim that down to the 5 1/4. So I'm just going to take off this end first. Like so. And then we'll twistle it round and just take that to 5 1/4. Okay, so that's now off to the edge down to size, and then we can start doing a bit of ink blending. Okay, so I'm going to bring in this mat that I said was for the Stampin' Up. This is also really good for doing ink blending on. And then you want to decide which way up you want to have this. Now, on my original sample I had it the other way around, so let's do it this way. My combo that I've decided to use for this sample is Starry Skies, Tahitian Tide and Parakeet Party, which are all current in colours. They were the new ones that came in the summer. I'm going to start with Starry Sky, which is a really beautiful deep blue. It's I think it's a really nice happy mix between Pacific Point and Night of Navy. It's got the depth but the brightness as well, if you know what I mean. Okay, so I'm just going to put a bit of that across there. Could have done it side to side, you can go up and down or side to side, whatever, but I thought everything else is sort of in straight lines. I thought it might be nice to put another little bit of interest in there. Then I'm going to use Tahitian Tide to blend in to that blue a little bit. On my other original sample, I just went Tahitian, so it would be Tahitian Tide all at the top here, and then a Parakeet Party at the bottom. But for this one, I'm going to do like a symmetrical sort of look and bring the Tahitian Tide down in both directions, and bring in the I want to say pool party then, Parakeet Party in on both corners. Okay, so you can have real fun with your colour combos. It's a good idea to try them out first, so just sort of remember a bit of colour theory, because if you have certain colours that go together, you'll end up with brown, and you may not want that colour. You may want it, but you may not. So it's a good idea to try them out on some scrap, just to make sure that the blend will work. This is what I did with the other sample, because I knew that I had the pink and the sort of greeny blue, and I tried it out just to see what would happen, and I did. I got like a muddy colour, which I wasn't happy with, so I decided to switch that back, switch it round so that I didn't have those colours together. So I'm just going to pop a little bit more Tahitian Tide over there, just to, because that parakeet really does, it's quite a strong colour, and the ink pad's quite juicy, so it's really, and that transition, you get like this really nice sort of, it's almost like Coastal Cabana actually. Okay, so these are the regular blending brushes that I've got there, because we do now have smaller ones, which if I just grab one, it's about half the size. So these are going to be good for the detailed work and smaller areas, but for today's project, because I'm doing a big big background, I wanted the larger one. And I'm going to bring back my my cloth. I'm holding this down with some scrap cardstock, just because this ink is going to transfer onto my fingers otherwise. So this is just a soft cloth, and I haven't actually dampened it at all. The water-based ink should just rub off that embossing nicely. Okay, and then this mat will be really easy to clean, so I'm just going to use a spritzer with some water in. And so this cloth, it's just a muslin cloth, that will clean up that beautifully. Okay, good as new, ready to go for next time. So there's our background. I think that's cute, right? and that just layers onto some black cardstock to make it pop, which now the embossing will make your cardstock warp a little bit, which is why I heat on the back and the front, just to try and even out that heat. Okay, so you just want to just get that bent back a bit in your fingers before you put it down. And I do use some extra seal, sort of going in both directions, just to try and make sure that that sort of stays as flat as possible when we layer it up. So that's just going to go on this piece of black. Like I say, it's just 1/8 of an inch taller and wider than, oh, it's gone on wonky. Yours will be straight, of course. Okay, it's fine. That way up. Okay, so that's our background ready. And actually, do you know what? We could actually get that onto the card, and then we just need to stamp the sentiments. I don't know why I find it easier to do it sideways, but I do find it easier to do it sideways. I think it's because I can see all 3 of those edges a bit better. So there we go. So we just need to pop a sentiment and embellishments on there. Okay, so grabbed, this is just an offcut off something, so it hasn't got a particular size and dimension. This is the die that I used. So like I say, the Stamparatus tool, I've just put the other plate in that had my sentiment stamp prepped on there. So again, we can just line this up. Okay, we can use a magnet to keep that in place. Very strong magnets. Okay, that's going to be fine. And then we're just using the Memento Tuxedo Black. And again, because we're using the Stamparatus, we can stamp this a couple of times if we want to. Now that stamped great, but again, you know, if you had missed a bit or hadn't quite turned out as dark as you wanted it to, maybe you've got a drier ink pad, you can stamp it twice and it'll be perfect both times. Okay, so I'm just going to wipe off the excess ink on that. I will be cleaning these stamps properly once I have finished filming with you. See how strong that magnet is. Look, look, lifts the whole thing up, especially when it's directly onto that that base platform. Okay. And then the little companion stamp, your 2 kind, we're also going to stamp in Memento, and I've already layered this onto the block so that I know it's going to be straight. So just going to eyeball this there. Okay, and then we can use the die to cut that out. Okay, so that's nice and simple. So we're using the cut and emboss. These dies would fit through the mini. In fact, I'll bring in my mini just to show you. Because at the moment, there's if you join, you can actually get a limited edition mini cut and emboss. Now I don't have the other mini. I don't need 2 minis, but it's in a really nice blue colour. Let me just grab which is actually a sneak peek of an upcoming in colour. It's called Boho Blue. Okay, so yeah, so if you join, there's some details at the back there. You can get the mini cut and emboss as well. Alright, so there's different joining options that you can do this time. So you can have a blue mini, you can have a regular mini, or you can choose not to have the mini emboss at all. So different options. But either way, it folds out. It's exactly the same as the Big Boss. It folds out, and you get all the plates you need in the pack. So the base plate is here. The only difference is there's no thin die adapter. Okay, so instead of number 3 plates, these are number 2s, and you just sandwich your project between those. So it's a very well worn base plate there, but it'll be absolutely works just fine. Feed it into the machine and just wind the handle like so, in exactly the same way as you would with the larger machine. Okay, and that's beautiful. Exactly the same outcome as you would get using the larger machine. Okay, so you get a number 3 and a number 4 as well. These are for your embossing folders, regular embossing folders and 3D embossing folders. So you get all of those in the pack, and then you can get replacement cutting mats in the regular catalogue, which is really great for travelling with. If your dies are all going to fit through, obviously the bigger like background dies and stuff won't, and it's just super light. You can, you know, I wouldn't say it's comfortable, but you can lift it with a finger, you know. So if you're someone who struggles with strength and dexterity, perfect little embossing tool there for you. Right, this guy's going to have a bit of this ribbon in. This is from the annual catalogue. This is the white frayed ribbon. So I'm just going to cut a length that's a little bit longer than what is required. And I'm going to grab some dimensionals as well. So I'm going to actually use some of the edging strip on here so that we're not wasting these bits. So I'm going to cut a couple of lengths of this. Okay, and I'm going to pop that along the top and bottom edge of this, like so. This is what these edging strips are really good for. Okay, then I'm going to pop some seal on there just to secure this ribbon. I'm going to just take those backings off before I do that. Oops, not at all. Because we're going to trim this down, I just want to secure it in place, right? Okay, and then I'm going to trim it down to just a little longer than what I need on both ends. And as the name suggests, I don't know, it's about there, isn't it? Sort of even. We can actually fray this ribbon. Sometimes you need to give it a little bit of a hand with a pokey tool or something, and then these threads just pull out. Okay, so we can fray that and give it that sort of grungy look, and then we can just sort of cut off the little thread there and tidy that up. Okay, the same on the other end. So sometimes you need to get it started and other times you don't, so it's fine, but it frays really easily to give you this sort of different look. If you want to, you don't have to fray it. And then on our card, oops, try to pick up my sample then, what I'm going to do is just pop, oops, getting myself stuck to it, because we've got that sort of material in the way there. I'm just going to pop some wet glue over the back of that, just to make sure that that sticks. And you know, if it hangs over the edge of the card a little bit, I don't mind either. Make sure that's the right way up, shall we? Yeah, that's it. And then, you know, where are you going to put it? I'm going to put it there, I think. Just kind of aiming just so that I can see bits of all the colours, if you know what I mean. Something like in the middle. And then we've got some basic enamels, enamel dot essentials, not basic enamel, Now Gloss Essentials. These are Night of Navy, Crumb Cake and White, which is a nice combination, sort of the neutrals look. I've got a few white gems actually, or clear even. So these are milky dots. These are cool as well. So there's like a clear version in there that we could use too. I think those are Night of Navy. I want to say Fresh Freesia. I think they call them gold. And then there's also these opaque dots they're called. Now on my other card, probably could have used these as well, because that is Gorgeous Grape. I think it's Melon Mambo, not Polished Pink. I think it's Melon Mambo. Fresh Freesia and White in there, but these have got like a faceted kind of look to them, whereas these ones are just glossy. And there's like a set of 4 of them, so I'm just going to pop those in. Now normally I'd go for odd numbers, but because you know, that would disrupt the symmetry on my little pack of embellies, so I'm just going to go with the 4 that are suggested there. Okay, but that's a nice little set of those neutral sort of tones. They look almost black, but honestly in real life they're really nice. And that's it, my friends, so I hope you've enjoyed that. Like I say, do click on the description, have a look at all the other blogs in the hop today. Starry Sky, Tahitian Tide, Parakeet Party on this one. This one's Gorgeous Grape, Polished Pink and Coastal Cabana. Okay, that's it from me today. Thanks ever so much for watching. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.